Welcome students to the presentation on lattices. We'll discuss some types of lattices: modular, distributive and complemented. So you are familiar with the word lattice. See, what is a lattice? It is a framework or structure of crossed wood or metal strips. The structure of lattice will look like this. And mathematically, we define a lattice as a non-empty set with a relation denoted by the symbol less than or equal to, which has the following properties: L, comma, less than or equal to should be a poset or partially ordered set. What is a partially ordered set? A partially ordered set is a non-empty set with the relation defined on it, and the relation should be reflexive, antisymmetric and transitive. And also the next property, any two elements should have a unique supremum and a unique infimum. For example, you can see the arrangement of atoms in a crystal. So that resembles the structure of a lattice. See, here you can see some examples for lattices. So the structures are given, and this is the structure of a crystal lattice, and the second one is the structure of a hexagonal lattice, and you can see the third picture. This is the structure of a distributive lattice, and this is an example of complemented lattice. And the last one, this is an example for a modular lattice. And now we shall see the definitions for modular, distributive and complemented lattice. A lattice is called modular if for all x, y, z belongs to L, x is related to z. So this symbol less than or equal to is nothing but the relation. So x is related to z implies x join y meet z is equal to x join y meet z. So the join denotes the upper bound, least upper bound, and the meet denotes the greatest lower bound. Now distributive lattice. So a lattice is distributive if it satisfies both the distributive properties. So you can see the distributive properties, two distributive properties. And next, complemented lattice. So a lattice with the 0 and 1. We'll call this 0 as the smallest element and 1 as the greatest element. So this lattice is called complemented if for each x in L there should be at least one element y such that x meet y should be equal to 0 and x join y should be equal to 1. Then say that y is the complement of x. So for every element in L there should be a complement. Then we can say the lattice as a complemented lattice. And next we shall see some theorems based on this lattices. A lattice is modular if and only if this equation equality holds. So this theorem gives the necessary and sufficient condition for a lattice to be modular. Then we'll see the proof. So let L be a modular. Now see X join Z is nothing but the least upper bound of X and Z. So clearly X is less than or equal to X join Z. Now we can apply the modular property. So the modular equation holds for X join Z. So instead of Y, you substitute this in the modular equation. Hence we can get X join Y meet X join Z equal to X join Y meet X join Z. Now the converse part. Suppose you assume that this equation holds for all x, y, z belongs to L. Then to prove the modular equation, first assume that x is less than or equal to z. Then x is less than or equal to z. Therefore, what about the upper bound for x and z? The upper bound of x and z will be equal to z, and the lower bound of x and z will be equal to x. So x join z is equal to z. Now you can substitute this in equation 1 and we can arrive at the modular equation. Therefore L is modular. Next theorem gives another necessary and sufficient condition for a lattice to be modular. That is X join Y meet Z equal meet Y join Z equal to X meet Y join Z join Y meet Z. So suppose L is modular and this is clear because Y meet Z. Y meet Z is the greatest lower bound for Y and Z. And Y join Z is the least upper bound for Y and Z. So clearly lower bound will be less than or equal to the upper bound. Therefore we can write Y meet Z is less than or equal to Y join Z. And if you apply this, now the modular equation becomes Y meet Z join X meet Y join Z is equal to Y meet Z join X meet Y join Z. And now apply commutative property. So you can interchange these two. So this is equal to X join Y meet Z meet Y join Z. So we have proved the direct implication and now the reverse implication, converse part. Suppose this is true for all x, y, z in L, then to prove the modular equality, you assume that y is less than or equal to z. And so what from this y is less than or equal to z means the upper bound for y and z will be z, and the lower bound for y and z will be y. So y meet z will be equal to y, and y join z will be equal to z. So you can apply these two equations in the modular, in this equation, given equation. So we get the modular equation. So L is modular. Now the next theorem, every chain is a distributive lattice. What is a chain? A chain is a poset such that any two elements are related. That is, if you choose any two elements A and B, then either A must be related to B or B must be related to A. That is, if you say in notation, either A is less than or equal to B or B is less than or equal to A. So the poset which satisfies this condition is called a chain, and the structure of the chain will look like a chain. So now we'll take a chain L and we choose three elements A, B and C, and here there are two cases. First case, A is less than or equal to B and A is less than or equal to C. So this is a chain, no. Therefore, if you take any two elements, then either there is a relation between the two elements. Either A is related to B or B is related to A. Therefore, A is less than or equal to B and A is less than or equal to C. Now, this is clear, no? Since A is less than or equal to B, clearly A is less than or equal to the upper bound also. Therefore, A is less than or equal to the upper bound for B and C. That is, B join C. And from this, we can conclude that the upper bound for these two elements is B join C, and the lower bound and the greatest lower bound for these two elements is A. Therefore, A meet B join C is equal to A. And on the other hand, A meet B. A meet B is less than or equal to A, because A meet B is nothing but the greatest lower bound, and also A meet C is less than or equal to A. Therefore, clearly the upper bound will also be less than or equal to A. So A meet B join A meet C will be equal to A. Hence, so these two are equal. Therefore, A meet B join C is equal to A meet B join A meet C. Now, the second case. So, B is less than or equal to A and C is less than or equal to A. And here, we'll just get the reverse process. So, B, the upper bound for B and C is less than or equal to A. And by similar argument, we can arrive at the distributive equation. So, L is distributive. So, now we have proved that L is a distributive lattice. Next theorem gives the relationship between a distributive lattice and a modular lattice. Every distributive lattice is modular, but the converse part is not true. And you can find examples for that. That is examples for a modular lattice which is not distributive. Now we'll see the proof for this. Take a distributive lattice L and choose three elements x, y, and z such that x is less than or equal to z. Now L is distributive. So x join y meet z equal to x join y meet x join z, and x less than or equal to z. This implies z is the upper bound and x is the lower bound. Therefore, the least upper bound of x and z, that is x join z equal to z. So applying this in the equation, we will get x join y meet z is equal to x join y meet z. Therefore, L is a modular lattice. And the next theorem, it gives the necessary and sufficient condition for a distributive lattice. That is, a lattice is distributive if and only if x meet y join y meet z join z meet x is equal to x join z meet y join z meet z join x. And next we can see an important theorem. A modular lattice is distributive if and only if none of its sublattices is isomorphic to the diamond lattice M5. And already I have said that the converse part of theorem 15 is not true. That is, every modular lattice may not be distributive, and if it is distributive only if it satisfies this condition. None of its sublattices is isomorphic to the diamond lattice M5. Now, instead of proving this statement, we are going to prove the contrapositive of the above statement. That is, the contrapositive statement of the theorem is a modular lattice is not distributive if and only if any of its sublattices is isomorphic to the diamond lattice M5. Now assume the direct implication. Suppose L is a modular lattice which has a sublattice isomorphic to M5. So this is the Hasse diagram for the diamond lattice M5. A diamond lattice M5 consists of 5 elements. The lowest element 0 and middle elements A, B and C, and the greatest element 1. So this is the Hasse diagram for M5. And you can see in this diagram A join B, that is A join B is 1, and A join C is also 1. So 1 meet 1 will be equal to 1. But on the other hand, A join B meet C, A join B meet C will be equal to B meet C, that is the lower bound, that is 0. So A join 0, and the upper bound of A and 0. Upper bound of A and 0 will be A. So A join 0 is equal to A. So equality does not hold here. Both are not equal. Hence, the distributive property is not satisfied. Therefore, M5 is not distributive. And since L is a modular lattice with their sublattice isomorphic to M5, clearly L is also not distributive. Now converse part. Suppose L is a modular lattice which is not distributive, then by theorem 16 the inequality does not hold. Therefore, this is less than this. That is x meet y join y meet z join z meet x is less than x join y meet y join z meet z join x. Now take u equal to x meet y join y meet z join z meet x, and v equal to x join y meet y join z meet z join x. So this element v, this is the greatest element, and u is the smallest element. And now we can take a is equal to u join x meet v, and b as u join y meet v, and c is equal to u join z meet v. The three elements a, b and c, these form the middle elements. So the Hasse diagram of these five elements looks like this. The lowest element is u, and the greatest element is v, and the middle elements are a, b and c. So these five elements form a sublattice that is isomorphic to the diamond lattice M5. Hence we have proved the necessary and sufficient condition for a modular lattice to be distributive. And another important theorem which is named as cancellation rule for distributive lattices. For a distributive lattice L, if for all a, b, c belongs not for all, for any a, b, c belongs to L if a meet b equal to a meet c and a join b equal to a join c, then b is equal to c. So this is just like cancelling the common elements. So if we cancel a, we'll get b is equal to c, and here if we cancel a both sides, then b is equal to c. So that is called the cancellation rule. Now you assume the L is a distributive lattice such that a meet b is equal to a meet c and a join b is equal to a join c. Now a meet b join c is equal to, we can apply the distributive property. So a join c meet b join c, and a join c can be replaced by a join b meet b join c, and we can apply the commutative law. So a join b can be written as b join a meet b join c, and combining these two terms using distributive law, b join a meet c, and again we can replace a meet c by a meet b. Now using absorption law, this is equal to b. So in the similar way, arrive at the result A meet B join C is equal to C. Therefore, B is equal to C. Hence, we have proved the cancellation law for a distributive lattice. Next theorem, if L is a distributed lattice with 0 and 1, 0 is the smallest element and 1 is the greatest element, then each element x belongs to L has at most one complement. So, since L has 0 and 1, suppose you take an element x which has more than one complement, that is 2 complements. So, let us assume that x has 2 complements. So, let us see what happens. Now, take 2 complements y1 and y2. So, x meet y1 equal to 0 and x join y1 equal to 1. Also, x meet y2 equal to 0 and x join y2 equal to 1. Now, by absorption law, y1 can be written as y1 join x meet y1. And you can replace x meet y1 by x meet y2 because both are equal to 0. Now apply the distributive law. So y1 join x meet y1 join y2 and y1 join x becomes 1. So this is equal to 1 meet y1 join y2 and this is equal to y1 join y2 because 1 is the greatest element. Therefore, if you take meet with any element, you will get the same element with 1. Therefore, this is equal to y1 join y2. And similarly, if you replace y2 by y1 and y1 by y2, that is, if you interchange y1 and y2, you will get this one. y2 is equal to y1 join y2. So therefore, y1 is equal to y2 and that is equal to y1 join y2. So if you take 2 complements, then we get the result that both the complements are equal or same. Hence, for every element x in L, the complement is unique. Next, we shall prove another important theorem. If L is a complemented distributive lattice, then for A, B belongs to L, the following conditions are equivalent. That is, A is less than or equal to B, A meet B complement is equal to 0, A complement join B equal to 1 and B complement is related to A complement. Now there are 4 parts in this theorem. The first part will be proving this. 1 implies 2. Now assume that A is related to B. And we know that if A is related to B, then B is the upper bound and A is the lower bound. Therefore, the least upper bound of A and B is equal to B. Since B complement is the complement of B, B meet B complement equal to 0 and B join B complement equal to 1. Now A join B meet B complement is equal to, and this is equal to B. Therefore, B meet B complement, and that is 0. Now apply the distributive property. A meet B complement join B meet B complement, and that is equal to 0. And this is B meet B complement becomes 0. And again, so that you will get A meet B complement equal to 0. Second part of the theorem. Now, condition 2 implies condition 3. Now, assume that A meet B complement equal to 0. And we know that 0 is the complement of 1 and 1 is the complement of 0. Therefore, 0 complement is equal to 1. And we have assumed that 0 is equal to A meet B complement. So, this is equal to A meet B complement the whole complement. And now by De Morgan's law, if you bring this complement inside the bracket, then this implies A complement, this meet will change to join, and B complement the whole complement is equal to 1. This implies A complement join B complement the whole complement will again become B. So A complement join B equal to 1. Now, the third part of the theorem, that is 3 implies 4. Now assume this A complement join B equal to 1. Now A complement join B meet B complement equal to, and this is 1, no? So we can substitute 1 for this. So this is equal to 1 meet B complement. And again this is equal to B complement. Now apply the distributive property. A complement meet B complement join B meet B complement is equal to B complement. B meet B complement is equal to 0. So we'll get A complement meet B complement equal to B complement. So that is nothing but B complement is related to A complement. Now the last part of the theorem, that is we are going to prove the condition 4 implies condition 1. Let B dash is related to A dash. Then A complement meet B complement is equal to B complement, because the lower bound is B complement. Now if you take complement both sides, A complement meet B complement the whole complement is equal to B complement the whole complement. Therefore, by De Morgan's law, A join B equal to B. So we'll get A is less than or equal to B, that is A is related to B. So hence we have proved 1 implies 2 and 2 implies 3, 3 implies 4 and 4 implies 1. Hence they are equivalent. So here is an example. D of n is the lattice of all positive divisors of a positive integer n. That is the set of all positive divisors of n, and here the relation is divisibility. So we are going to see about D of 45. What are the divisors of 45? 1. There are 6 divisors: 1, 3, 5, 9, 15 and 45. So the Hasse diagram for D of 45 is given. Here the least element is 1 and the greatest element is 45. So you can see in the picture 3 and 5 are divisors of 15, and 3 is the divisor of 9, and 9 and 15 are divisors of 45. So for D of 45, there are only 2 sublattices. You can take either 1, 3, 9, 15 and 45. This forms a sublattice whose Hasse diagram is given here. And the next one, 1, 3, 5, 15 and 45. S2. The Hasse diagram for S2 is given in the figure. Now we can note that S1 and S2, both S1 and S2 are not isomorphic to N5 and M5, where N5 is the pentagon lattice and M5 is the diamond lattice. So there are two theorems which says that if there are no sublattices isomorphic to N5 and M5, then the lattice is distributive. So using that, we can conclude that D of 45 is distributive. So far we have proved some important theorems with the examples, and see you in the next presentation. Thank you.